need to pick. Hey,
Hello.
man, what's going on, buddy?
Dude, meeting the big names today. Pomp, Tim Draper, Mark Yusko, I did yesterday. So having a good time here.
Mm. Ask Tim about pocket full of quarters. I want to know when my STO tokens are going to pay out.
Oh, is the who's in that?
Remember Tim was he
No, I
put
know
some money.
that.
Huh?
Which one? Draper, Pomp, or
Draper.
Yusko? Oh,
Draper.
okay. Okay.
Yeah. No, because remember those guys, that was the cross-platform token play very early.
Yeah.
Had a no action letter from the SEC, POQ. They do a lot of esports now. And they got that the token that was no action was the actual token in the platform quarters, where
Okay.
people build games and you play the games, you use the quarters. Developers can cash the quarters out to ETH. They're the only ones. So that's why it got the no action. But it did around the security tokens early on Republic, and I ended up with some of those. So
All
ask
right.
him what he did with his,
I
or if he
met
wants
with
to buy mine.
right. I
Yeah.
also met with the guy who heads his incubator, which is interesting. So I had a really good conversation with them. I'm going to try to
Well,
move outside here because it's
yeah.
fucking
Remember,
loud in here.
look at you, like Kim Kardashian or something like that, walking around with your full-on gear. Look at you, player.
Oh yeah,
Web
man, that's
three
me.
player, buddy.
I
Huh?
get compared to her all the time.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's probably that big booty you got going on.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. You're hilarious. This is no better. This is no better.
Yeah. Oh, that's
There's
the
no place to
Intercontinental.
sit.
That's right. All right, cool.
Yeah, no, it's nice.
Hey, quick question. Have you ever
Yep.
taken, when the kids were younger, did you ever take them down to go ice skating there where they set it up in front of the Intercontinental? There's like a little
I
rink. Have you ever taken?
No, I didn't even know they had that.
Yeah. Should try
We have
that.
taken
It's
them ice
great.
skating, but an indoor place out west.
Or at the beach. There's a great rink at the beach too that's indoors.
Oh, okay.
Over by I guess it's a youth center by Beach High or something like that.
Oh,
But
check it out.
yeah, no, sounds like you're having fun, buddy.
Dude, having a great time. Lots of great connections, really great content. And I, everybody that runs fucking events should come learn from the people that are running this one because everything's on time, everything's prepared, all the speakers are ready, all the sound is set up, all the content is excellent. I'm sitting in the media room, and that's when the speakers come in, and watching the prep work for the moderators with the
Yeah.
speakers, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, this is just a well-run friggin' machine. This is the first year of this event. So really, really impressive. It's a great event. I recommend. I'm sure they'll do more of these. Company called CTH and Atlas IDEG, and then Kyle Ellicott, a VC with the Stacks Foundation, is the big driver behind this thing. But really, really impressive. Really impressive.
Well,
So
it's sort of like I notice when I go to the Bloomberg conferences, it's the same way. It's like they just execute. And the difference is that there's not an overlying entertainment theme attached to these types of conferences. There's not
right,
people dressed in clown outfits and running around doing magic
exactly.
tricks and shit like that.
Yep,
It's an older crew. I mean, it's a more serious crowd, let's put it that way. But
that's
they're
it.
also the ones that move markets.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
whenever you're starting up something on the edge that we talk about, to me, these are the types of people that are your exit liquidity.
Yep, absolutely.
So
There
plan
you
to that.
go. That's what I'm thinking about. That's what I'm
Hmm.
thinking about. Let me see. Does the phone go? Oh, it does move sideways. I can't see if we have. Uh,
You're fine, dude.
no,
I can
I'm
see
just
you.
looking for the interface to comments. I found it. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Now, so what's Pomp been doing?
Pomp is not answering any questions about his BlockFi investment.
Of course not.
But look, he was talking up a good game. A big part of his business model all along has been onboarding institutional. So this crowd is his crowd. Like this, there's a lot of crypto tradfi people here. There's a lot of VCs, and that's the people he's been pitching to for all these years. And he makes a strong argument for it. So it was, look, Bitcoin's the best investment in 10 years. lots of shit's getting built. The rest of the market's down just like crypto. The future is bright, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, no, I haven't talked to him in years, but I always remembered him as being I mean, I don't really like me, I don't really listen to all the influencer stuff from people much. But when I talked to him, because I was trying to sell him a block of, well, never mind. When I talked to him, it was, I found it to be very, very credible, and on top of it but he came from the grassroots too. He's an underdog play.
Right.
And he didn't come through like, Yale at Harvard MBA and, Goldman Sachs and stuff. It's Sarge basically,
Yep.
And
yeah,
he
absolutely.
educated himself and turned into a player. And that's why I always respect him.
Yep.
So good to hear
Absolutely.
he's still doing well.
Yeah, look, Mark Yusko was the guy who gave him, I think, really got him into the field and gave him the opportunity. So, which is cool. I mean,
so they're all, is Mark Yusko Morgan Creek too, or is he?
Yeah, Morgan Creek, but I think Pomp left Morgan Creek.
Oh,
I think he's on his own now. The mentor became the mentee became the mentor.
Grasshopper.
Grasshopper. There are very few people on this show that know what we're talking about when we say that.
Yeah. It's what was that? That was the 70s, right? Yeah. Kung Fu.
Yeah. Kung Fu
with David Carradine. I want to say who had a rather ignominious end, I must say. Just Google it.
What happened?
I don't want to repeat it. I don't know.
Oh, no, really? Is it nasty,
just
dirty?
Google it. Yeah, it's pretty nasty ending.
Oh, you got to tell us, Joe. Tell us. Just come on.
Well, I'll give you a teaser. It happened in Bangkok.
And that's all you need to say.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
No,
I'll stop. I want to see how you. I want to see how you move around this.
No, send everybody off on a Google treasure hunt.
So a funny thing is, I just met with a VC out of Palo Alto, and his focus is on metaverse, and the entire fund is bet on metaverse. And I was like, I got to tell you, I need to know what you're seeing out there, because if you just started a fund a few months ago focused entirely on metaverse, my buddy Joe and I aren't too hot and bothered over that space. So what are you seeing? He goes, well, it's early, but he goes, we think it's still going to be the future. And I said, well, that's great, but I at the end of the day, I think there's some serious issues with getting people to commit to it. I think there's some vertical plays, but he's like, well, I'll tell you what, the biggest problem they have is they're trying to fit the metaverse onto mobile devices, right? Because 70% of people want to access this shit off their mobile phone. And there's no dopamine hit like TikTok or even YouTube moving from video to video and et cetera. He said, so that's their biggest problem. He said, the other problem is they all have a ton of money, but they don't have a way to attract people into it. He goes, so I was talking to him about the show, and I think we're going to have him on probably.
Yeah, I'd love
to
talk to him. Absolutely.
Yeah. So really great guy. And he's like, look, I can guarantee you. Well, he didn't say guarantee you. He goes, I'm pretty confident, some kind of words along those lines, that if you went to a couple of these metaverses, you could have them bidding against each other to not move your show, but to also make your live show broadcast from the metaverse.
Yeah,
he's like, because they're desperate for people to come in, and they would probably pay you for the content. And I said, well, the interesting thing is we've talked a lot about some other content providers coming to partner with us. He said, oh no, then you could just curate all the other providers and have this world in a metaverse that's all DeFi oriented and all content all the time. I was like, that's interesting. Little
something
to think about.
Yeah.
That sounds good. I like the way that, because I was like, look, we don't make any money from this. It's deal flow and networking, but what the fuck? I'll take somebody's money.
Look, let's take it all on another level on steroids here and think we find the right metaverse, and then we pull in. Somehow we deploy this elements of this show on, let's say, Phantom, and somehow we deploy the whole thing inside one of the metaverse, where then we can maybe build pipes and cross hooks onto other metaverses. And then we basically have deployed a layer one chain cross metaverse within the metaverse.
Yeah, I like it.
So I would be down with that. Let's talk to this guy.
Okay.
Because I think one thing about metaverse, I know we kind of go, oh yeah, it's early. who wants to sit in a chair with a VR headset at this point? But I think there's one thing that I know probably a lot of people are thinking about this, but when we think about .com in 99, 2000 timeframe, and whatever we were seeing there, because I remember we were still just doing web clipping on like flip phones or something like that, and maybe getting 3-word text, or you had a BlackBerry was basically the most sophisticated way to message.
Yep.
Nobody saw that we were going to be out mobile creating content like you at this conference right now, doing this show to the world from your phone.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So we didn't see that interface coming.
No.
So when we see metaverse, we're limited too, because we're looking at it. I'm sort of looking at it from, phone, laptop kind of deployment, or VR headsets, or maybe these new eyeglasses I've seen that have different heads up stuff. Like I think it's Pixel Glass, look pretty interesting. But there's going to be another interface. It's going to be something that like pops out of your smartphone. And it's like, I don't want to say a hologram or something, but it's going to be something that's like like we put the backgrounds up, on this, and you're moving your head in and out of the background. It's something like that. There's going to be some kind of a portal thing that you're going to be able to act in where you're still walking around like this.
Yeah.
Like where you're walking around and you're seeing data feeds from different people alerting, and you're pulling them into the main screen as you're walking, or you're moving around, you are walking in metaverse, whichever we choose, and you're looking out in the show. And, there's all kinds of cool things that could be done that draws people in, as long as it doesn't park people stationary too much.
Yeah.
I think
you're right. I think you're absolutely right. The funny thing is he brought up, when we were talking about headsets, I said, my personal usage of headset is, my son has an Oculus. I think it's a great experience. I use it once every 4 months. I said, now I'm, 57 years old, so I'm not the target. Like, I'm not the guy who's going to live in it. But I said, I tell you what, if I could replace my 49-inch monitor and move around my house and have everything I need in front of me, and I don't feel dizzy and I don't feel like I'm losing my mind, and I still have the ability to see what I'm doing, I'd fucking be all over that, And then his response was, you know what? When I talk to people that want money, they talk about, we're going to need these fancy new $1,000 headsets, blah, blah. He goes, you got customers with $1,000 phone in your hand. Make it work, right? He's like, that's where you need to focus. Make it work on the phone. I thought that was a really interesting take.
Mm-hmm. Well, because, where this drives all of us when we talk decentralization is, our biological proof of identity, digital identity, all of those things. It really is. We're all becoming a node.
Yeah.
And the node, maybe it's the node's the device. Maybe the node is us. I'm not. Right. I think it ends up being us, and the device is sort of just auxiliary. But the device is, like he said, we got $1,000 supercomputer in our hands, and it can do anything, just about anything. So I think we have to start thinking, what is that next? It's these interfaces in and out of these metaverse that is kind of the next thing. Yeah.
I agree. No, absolutely. So anyway, like I said, this whole thing, I'm making lots of great connections, meeting a lot of cool people, doing cool stuff. And this place is packed. There's not a seat left in the auditorium. Hundreds of people here, all paying over $1,500 a person. Lots of VIP. The lounge for the VIPs is packed.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, the TradFi people, I think the TradFi people are in here saying, okay, here's when we come in.
TradFi parties for the long haul, man.
Yeah, while everybody else is hurting and licking their wounds, we're going to come in and see what we can pick up here, and I think that's exactly what's happening.
Yeah, it's like you said, I think you were tweeting this. I think it was you. Maybe it was you or Narwhal or somebody, but, I'm putting you up there with the big boys. That, hey, man, everybody's waiting on the institutional money. Well, the institutional money's already here.
Exactly. That's what Tom said in his presentation this morning. Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's right. That's where you retweeted that, I think. And which kind of tends to this point of, well, we're kind of sitting in the 16s. Everything's up a little bit today, just so you know. But BTC is just hanging there at this floor of what looks like 16 to me. I know everybody's kind of expecting a little bit of a dip, but to me, any of those like V dips that come, it has to come from I think the institutional guys own most of it now at that point. I don't think the OG miner types are still around much. I think they sold.
Not either.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is more of if, you know, if one institutional gets in trouble, it has to dump. But I think that there are so many people sitting on the sidelines waiting to pounce at 10, 11, 12, just logarithm up going down to like 5. It's just money is going to come pouring in if anything like that happens. That's why I don't really, I mean, I'm weighted more like 60-40 right now up that, but I feel like sideways for a while still. But look, we got a Fed thing coming up sometime soon. I think pretty much everybody's expecting 50, maybe it's 25.
Yeah.
We got DXY still appreciating. We got markets rallying. TradeFi has cash to invest, and they seem to be just scouring this space right now. And they are skipping anything that's just called like hashtag crypto, hashtag BTC. They're going right for Web3 crypto applications, or how that all fits into the future world and how Web3 fits into metaverse potentiality. So to me, I think that's a hugely positive sign for us.
Absolutely. Now, I look, I don't want TradFi to take over, but I certainly think that kind of money is the only way we get to $1 trillion, right? Without it, it's going to take 150 years.
Well,
so,
yeah.
And that's just inevitable, right? So anyway, we'll see, but this fucking event's encouraging.
Well, yeah, and also, look, the one thing that we have going for us is that, we love to kind of ride cowboy out on the technology innovation edge and go scout, initiate contact, find new stuff. Yeah. That's all going on. So even with the big boys and gals over here doing their thing, for people that listen to the show that are starting projects and doing things, this is hugely positive for you. Because when we develop this
time.
Yeah, when we develop or you develop this like super cool, true decentralization applications, protocols, whatever.
Yeah.
These guys are going to gobble this stuff up for licensing deals, acquisitions, everything. And again, as I say to entrepreneurs, I know that there's often a philosophical something driving you, but often you can't fight that battle on the first go around or fight that war in the first battle. You need to win the first battle, build something, sell it, license it, get some cash in your pocket. And then if you want to hoist the pirate flag and go do something crazy, then go do that then when you have cash.
Exactly.
You have lawyer money. You don't go up against the big boys with no lawyer money.
That's right. It's funny. I was just talking to a guy from BDO that runs compliance and risk management for their crypto consulting division.
Yeah.
And he's actually out of Miami. Really good guy. And he talked about Yeah. He talked about how he's a Bitcoin maxi, so it's an interesting conversation. We talked about how many of his clients, either pretend to be interested in what is part of the consulting, which is the compliance and risk management stuff, and the go see your attorney and get regulators on board, blah blah blah. And he's down to the point where he just tells them, look, go through the motions, file some paperwork, show that you're trying. And this is something you talk about a lot, right? Show that you have made an effort to be compliant, but that maybe you didn't have the 50 grand you need to have an attorney do everything for you. But when the regulator comes knocking later on and says, hey, you didn't do this, you didn't do this, you didn't do this, you can say, yeah, but I did this. And then you're going to get a lot, probably, this is not legal advice, it's not compliance advice, but you're probably going to be hit a lot less hard than the guy who just didn't do anything, right?
Yeah,
absolutely. And that's creating the entity, having the attorneys, all that good shit. But I thought that was a really interesting point. And he said that what's happened is now he's getting more traction with that message. It's like, look, just go through the motions of these first few things. I'll tell you what to do, so that you can at least have a good story when the regulator comes knocking.
I tried.
I thought that exactly. I did what I could. I couldn't afford the attorneys right now. I tried to do it. So anyway, I thought that was
filing anything, and I filed something.
Exactly. So, who are they going to go after? The guy who's
not hiding. I'm standing right here. I'm not running away. And as long as you're not ripping people off, being, obviously any token generating events are probably verboten right now, but there are other ways to do it, obviously. And again, I think we're back to build the great project first.
Yeah.
And Try to think through the tokenomics. Maybe there's another token you can use. But I think the days of getting rich off a token offering in the U.S. Are long gone.
Speaking of token choices, you sent this story about Coinbase Wallet.
Yeah.
So they're dumping Bitcoin Cash. Yes.
Yep. I knew you'd like that.
I'm not happy about the Ethereum Classic dump. I think that's a bad move. XRP and XLM.
I thought that was surprising.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised, but they say it's not for any compliance issues. They're doing it because of low usage. That they're just not getting enough people using it. But here's my question. Once you have the code in for the wallet, the only thing you have to worry about is when wallet upgrades happen for that chain, right? So, I mean, are they saying they don't have the resources to do the upgrades and that's why they're going to pull them out because there's not enough people transacting? I find it really interesting. The other interesting thing here is this. It tells you that you probably have a harder core group of users in Coinbase Wallet that are more Ethereum, Bitcoin type folks, because those communities, I mean, look, the fucking XRP community is not small.
I was surprised.
And the Ethereum Classic community, while not gigantic, is still significant. And, Bitcoin Cash will just throw you fucking money because he's so desperate to keep that alive. But anyway, I thought it was interesting. Interesting move on their part.
What I was thinking, dude, was it, back to this what's a security discussion. And, both XRP and Stellar, I mean, I think Stellar settled, if I'm not mistaken, up.
I don't know.
They all, I mean, Bitcoin Cash, obvious, yes. ETC, I agree. I think they're still doing stuff. But these two, I just didn't see, because they're so big and there's so many people in the community, it doesn't make sense to just cut them. You would just carry them. Exactly. Whatever you're losing unless there's something else.
Well, I think it's a developer resources problem. I look, they're not making money on Coinbase Wallet right now. I don't think they have swaps. Well, maybe they have swaps built in. Last time I looked, they didn't. So I don't think it's like driving revenue. So I think the decision is, look, every time there's an upgrade to the blockchain, to the wallet, whatever, we have to upgrade the code in our system. And that's a pain in the ass. We have to transition users, let them know if something changed, blah, blah, blah. So I have a feeling it's just a resources issue. It's like, why the fuck would we spend money on this when nobody's using it?
One quick question. When they're saying, I mean, I wasn't even thinking of this, honestly. I just was thinking Coinbase, So they're still
this is their wallet
exchange. It's just the wallet.
This is like a MetaMask competitor.
That's what I thought. Okay, then I started thinking about, because I remember Stellar always had their own wallets. I remember Astro Wallet and a whole bunch of other ones. And
they're not dumping it from the exchange, just from their wallet.
No, so that makes it's just the extension wallet. Okay. That actually makes a little more sense.
They have a mobile version and an extension version, just like MetaMask.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. This is interesting. You also sent over that GMX surpasses Uniswap in daily fees earned. That's impressive. I mean, GMX has been getting a ton of hype. Everybody's in it. Everybody loves it. It's a synthetic perpetuals based exchange, etc. And people love. I don't understand it because I haven't climbed enough into it, but people are hyped about the token model for it. There was a story about them. Oh no, I know what I saw the other day. Somebody forked GMX onto Polygon, and it turns out that it's like 3% of all of the token supply is owned by one influencer that's been hyping this other project. It's MMX or something. I don't know what they called it. And so what he was basically saying is if that influencer dumps, price jumps 50% because so much is in the hands of one guy. Anyway, GMX is still burning it up. I need to take a deeper look because I really haven't.
Yeah, well, look, I ran across him, when I was doing my Arbitrum, I'm here, hook me up for the airdrop part. I started digging at them and I thought these guys are pretty interesting. And I like the perp space, but you just got to be careful. I mean, it moves fast. It's like the craps table. I mean, it's just gone. And if you're a rookie, play with spot right now. I mean, do not get into these games because you know what happens. You're down a little bit and all of a sudden you start doubling the bets because you're like, oh, this is going to happen. And then boom, 2 seconds later, you're wiped out. So,
well, you know what? We'll talk to Sean on Friday about perps because that's all he trades.
Yeah.
By the way, everybody, Sean's on Friday for this first week. He can't do Thursday, and we already had a guest booked previously. So tomorrow we'll have a guest, and I will actually be back in my office. Although I kind of like this. This is Brad Nickel live from Miami at the Miami Web3 Summit.
I like it too, man. It's great to have someone on the field.
It's kind of fun. Back to you, Joe.
Well, here
anyway,
in sunny Miami, it's 82, and I'm getting ready to hit the pool in a second.
Joe's doing the weather now.
Yeah.
Puts on his weatherman hat.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, Sean will be on Friday, so we'll talk about perps then. Time for Brad to go have the VIP lunch. So I'm going to be out here, Joe. You want to keep going? You're welcome to. Oh, one more thing. I'll talk about this a little bit tomorrow. A project that I interviewed that I'm really excited about called Fluidity. I have no stake in it, no tokens, no nothing. It's not investment advice. Is launching very soon. I think as soon as this in the month of December. That was the one that every transaction. No, every transaction you do, you have the potential to win anywhere from a few bucks to $1 million. And it's an alternative. What it comes down to at the core is, besides the money you can win, the sender and the receiver both get it. And 70% of transactions will gain some extra cash for the transaction that comes to them automatically in the system. But the real key to this is and I'll post the link to the, by the way, the last 2 episodes are uploading. It's taking forever fucking here today. It's a new liquidity model for projects. And they did a really cool write-up on the use cases for it. I'll put that in the link in the show notes, and we could talk about it tomorrow if we have time after our guest is here. But really, really interesting shit. I really think this project is going to get a lot of traction. The founders are impressive. I did an interview for Mission DeFi with them, and I'll post that in the show link notes as well, so people can remind themselves of the possibilities, because we really dove deep into what it could be used for, how, et cetera, et cetera. All right, Joe, I gotta run. Thank you everybody for listening and watching. Appreciate you guys and love you. Please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and click the little subscribe button.
Don't cut me. All right. Also, guys, we're talking about Phantom. Money's rotating in. Start watching FTM, Geist, Spirit, all of Boo, all of them, because there is capital coming in. But be smart. It's been moving, so ease your way in at this point if you do, or look at dips or whatever. Be sharp. Be smart.
Listen to go to Binance's YouTube channel. Interview with the CEO. The first part of it's up. Really impressive. Not Andre. Sam Kang, I can't remember his name, but anyway, if you ever wanted to understand how consensus mechanisms work, and especially phantoms, go listen to the interview with him. Really, really impressive interview. Part 1's up. I can't wait for part 2, because it was really just a good educational video as well. So James says, have fun at the conference, Brad. Always a good show, guys.
Thanks, buddy. And thanks you. Man. Go get some good foodies, and everybody have a great day. Be safe, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Can I hang up?
Yes, you may.